Welcome back to the Sick Boys Podcast. I'm your host, JD Denham, and always my buddy sitting next to me, Justin Wenzel. What's up, dude?
Dude, what's happening?
Bro, always looking snazzy. You
You,
are a stylish son of a bitch, bro.
I had a hard time today though, because I spent the day yesterday getting completely blasted in ink. So, and I got like my belt line and below, yeah, wow, uh, blasted. So now I have to wear my pants like Mick Jagger or Iggy Pop, and then I also got my knuckles done, and so like the two like worst spots for healing because there's so much movement.
Yeah, you're moving them.
And so yeah, it was a fun day though, but getting back in the saddle. Winter is always my tattoo season
When is enough? You tell me.
when we don't have any more room.
Seriously.
It's funny. Nick and I were talking about this, about a bodysuit, and in the tattoo world, the bodysuit is the ultimate accomplishment,
Sure.
right? Because and it shows a lot, right? Like that you can sit, that you can be patient. There's a lot of planning that goes involved to a tattoo, like not only just like the scheduling and the time, like if you have to work, the time away from work, or like,
Yeah,
there's pain,
sure.
right? There's healing. A tattoo is a 2 week process, and then however long it takes to lead up to it.
Yeah.
So when you can complete a bodysuit, it's like you made it, like you did it in the tattoo
You
world.
put some time into that shit.
Time, and not to mention investment. I mean,
Yeah.
this shit's not cheap. Although I get a pretty good deal, it's still not cheap.
Right.
And so, for me, it was like I always, when I envisioned my most elite self, right? And it was just like, I pictured everything. And
Yeah.
I said I would like my entire body from the chin down tattooed. And that's, to me, that showed a level of commitment and a level of commitment that only people like us have.
You're getting pretty close, bro.
Yep. People say tattoos are addictive. Sure, absolutely.
What's the first one?
My first tattoo was actually, I was in Soho. I was in New York City.
All
I
right.
was 17 years old. I got my brother's name on a scroll on my ankle, and I had to go to like four different shops to find one that didn't ID me. Because when I was 17, I looked like I was 22.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I was like the only kid freshman in college with a sleeve of tattoos.
Wow. I know. So like back in that day, dude, like if you had a
Yeah,
sleeve, you were like a little beast.
right, right.
Now everybody's tatted.
Yeah, now tattoos are completely normal. It's so awesome how things have become way more acceptable.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Punk rock, baby.
that's it.
Well, you're always looking snazzy, man. You're always looking
You look
snazzy.
good too, though. You got dressed this time.
Dude, it was cold this morning, bro. I'm glad I did. It was cold this morning. So I'm glad that I put on a flannel, you know?
Yeah. And so we're traveling, for the holidays and stuff. So I was wanting to bang out as many of these as possible so we can, keep up with this. We'll probably film when we're in Mexico.
That'd be fun. You're
Yeah.
in Tulum, I'm in Cabo.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's
You know,
different time zones too.
we're also wanting to have our brides on there, our girls on
Y-
here, and give them a little show and bring them on there. We'll do that too. Maybe not in Cabo, but it kind of would be cool to do it here.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Saturday when
You
she's
know
in
what I mean?
town.
So let's talk about, because I wanted to, we've talked about it a little bit. We kind of started, I think, on the first one, but we were going to talk a little bit about the genesis of yes and
Mm.
how that cultivated, how that became, because for you and I, it's big. We say it all the time.
Every text.
Every text. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like like why don't you break that down on how, like, from your perspective on just how that happened?
Yeah. So I
Because it's a
heard
cool
this.
story.
You know what? I heard it in a reel a while back and it stuck with me. But I didn't really have somebody that was as close as you are that was like straight up down for whatever, right? And that wanted to expand, elaborate, grow, build constantly.
Yeah.
And then the first time we trained together, we started talking about, filming or doing a podcast, right? But it didn't stop there. And that like hour of training, we talked about filming a podcast. And then it was like, yes. And then let's also do a live event. Yes, and then let's do a series of live
Yeah, yeah.
events.
Right.
And then it was like, yes, and then why don't we just do a whole entire separate podcast, just the two of us,
Yeah, right.
right?
Yep.
And ever since then, it's been like that, right? We've had an amazing end of the year, final
Right.
quarter of the year. We've
Oh
been
yeah.
doing the Sick Boys podcast. We've been having tons of awesome success with people that are reaching out to us and really enjoying this, but it's really changing lives. And I know that we both have the receipts to prove it in our DMs, text messages,
Love it.
and everything else. And it's all a product of yes and. Now, I don't want to go on the negative side of it though,
Mhm.
right? Because we've talked about the negative side of it and we've talked about scarcity and people who live in negativity and stuff like that enough. I
Mhm.
want to spend this time, especially like right as we're coming up to the holidays and as people are coming up to the new year, understanding abundance and understanding what is possible
Yeah.
by those two simple words. Now, what's the opposite of yes and? Yeah, but.
True that.
Right? Now, those are the people that we want to stay away from. And we've explained this, right? Yes, but people are always downers. They're
Right.
always they're sucking the
What
energy.
if? What if
What
it
if?
happened? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if it doesn't work out?
Right, right.
What if it does?
What if it does? And so those people we already know. We want them eliminated from our lives. And we've discussed this on the past podcast that's the energy suck. That's like all the good times are gone when those people walk in the
Yeah.
room, right? So yes, and expanding on that is a building process, and the building is about abundance. So how it started was that, and then I told you about that, and then the next day I texted you, want to train this morning, and you said yes, and
Well, you had said, I think that what happened, like we went and trained, we ran into each other at the gym. We kind of knew each other through just social media, but never had physically met. And it was like, "What up, dude?" Like we hit it off. Why don't you come on my podcast? And you had how you have it set up, right? We meet at the gym, we lift, and we talk, and then we
Mhm.
go and we break some bread, and we talk, and then we get to here, and then we talk. And each stage, we got some rad clips,
But notice how many times you said and then
See, right?
and and and
Right.
and
So then we
and.
like had Brad and like, we've talked about it. But so when I was driving away that day, because it was we got so much good content, we just had good conversations, you know what I mean? And then Freddie clips them and just makes them dimes, and then I was driving away. I was like, dude, we kicked ass on that. That was good, man. I enjoyed those conversations. And I think I texted you the next day or sometime after maybe we were putting out some content and people like liked it. Let's do a podcast. And I think you said yes and that's when the genesis
Yeah.
of it. So yes and is yes and we can do more.
Yep.
Yeah, like there's no stoppage. It's like what else?
Right.
Powerful.
When you're around abundant people, when you're around people that are also inspired and have imagination and are creatives, creatives are the best people to spend your time with, right? Because
Yeah.
it's always going to be like yes, and then let's take it here.
There's no box.
No,
Everybody lives in a box. I'm
it's
comfortable
hard.
being here. I'm like this is like comfortable being here and there's no like but people that think outside the box and let their brain just fly. Woo.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah. And so when you find people that live outside of the box that can expand on ideas and grow together, like that's great. Now, of course, you do need people that can execute, and yet you need people that know how to stay, to a process and stuff like that. So
Sure.
not everybody can be a creative, not everybody can be a visionary, but everybody can be a yes and person,
Yeah.
right?
When did you start to understand that? The part where hanging out with certain people are either energy vampires or they bring you down or that energy is just contagious to the degree where it affects you. Like when did you catch up to that?
So
Recently?
you know what? So my eyes were open to it when I moved to California. And I think because California is such a progressive, such a creative. I mean, we have Hollywood. We have, you know what I mean? Like
That's the
it's
stage.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It sets the stage. Now, when you grow up living in the Midwest or in a flyover state, when like all you think of California is what you see in the
Yeah,
movies, and
right.
everything you see
Everybody
in the
serves.
movies is fake,
Right,
right?
right, right.
And so you don't, it's funny because not only do you like not believe it's possible, but you almost like degrade it. You almost like paint this picture. And I can tell you this from being somebody who lived in the Midwest and lived in conservative, small towns, and have worked in rural areas and lived in rural areas. That like you almost degrade it. You almost kind of make fun of it. Oh, California shoegazers,
Yeah,
California hippies, like,
yeah.
oh, you're gonna go
Because
out
you can't
there
have
and
it.
right, right. but and I don't think I never became that way,
Hmm.
right? Because I had seen the rest of the world and I had traveled and I'd gotten to do things that most people can't. But you're around it a lot,
Yeah.
right? And so those people see what's going on everywhere else, but they're flyover town that nobody even goes to,
Hmm.
and they get bitter, right?
Sure.
It's like they're
This is all we
so
get.
right, right, and it's like you have like fear of the unknown, right? And what does he say in the Idols song? He says, fear leads to anger, anger leads to what does he say? Fear leads to anger, anger leads to it'll come to me in a second, but it's like these people are like they don't know what's going on, and then they think like California is like just a bunch of liberal fucking crazy people, and we have a lot of
So
that.
envy.
And yeah, fear leads to envy, envy leads to I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. This is good, and I'm glad we're doing this just because it's called Idols.
So as you're looking for that, so I always when we go to Vegas, right? You stop off, what is it, Barstow, and like there's this little town, right? It's this little town in the middle of nowhere, and we'll stop at like back in the day, like at Carl's or something, right? And like I'd always ask like you like I was always so curious, like why working at Carl's Jr. and Barstow, there's nothing around, like don't you want something more? You know what I mean? Not
Yep.
out of judgment. I'm not meaning it like that, but I was just so like why don't you go to Vegas and work at Carl's? Like it's such a big world, dude. And I always was just so intrigued by like why anybody would want to live there. You know what I mean?
So in the song, he says, "Fear leads to panic, panic leads to pain, pain leads to anger, anger leads to hate." And so I think a lot of people like they
Stew in it.
yeah, the unknown.
You let that continue. You can let that. You let anger turn into that. It's powerful, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the people, like, well, shoot, look at some of our comments. Those are miserable people.
terrible.
Like, why are you going through anybody's comments talking shit? I don't even do that ever. I don't ever even say a negative comment. I scroll past stuff that I don't like every day. And I do just
Mhm.
scroll past it. How hard is that?
It's
Don't leave a
not
comment, dude. You're like, miserable people, man.
totally. Totally. So yeah, I think that's just it, right? So like people don't really know what's out there, or they see it, they don't believe it, and then or they're afraid of it, and then they become resentful of it. They become bitter because they don't actually get to see that life.
There's a Smoking Popes uh, song that he says, I was so scared of failure that I didn't even try.
Mm,
And that always stuck with me because I think that is so powerful that so many people, their what ifs, what if this happens? What if like, I'm going to start a business? Well, what if I lose all my money?
yeah.
They're just that
So what?
failure. So they don't even like take that action because, like you just said, having big dreams is great and thinking big is great. But if there's no action behind it,
Hmm.
it's not, is it great? Of course
Right.
not.
So getting back to what you said, though, you asked me was, when did I first realize that? And I said when I moved here, and it was because I started to see other people. And when I would think of an idea, instead of being told, yeah, but I started seeing people going, yeah, and you could also do that, and maybe you should do an event, and
So
and
early
maybe you
on,
should start a t-shirt line with it, and you know what I mean. And I had no interest in starting a t-shirt brand or anything like that, but it was like always like you should do this on top of that.
hmm,
And meanwhile, the people in my flyover town state would be like, oh well, what are you
totally.
gonna you're gonna go out there and you're gonna be like a like a celebrity and stuff like that, like like whatever, like okay, fuck you,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Watch me.
yeah, hold my non-alcoholic beer,
Yeah.
um, and so yeah, I think that was it. So I think one of the biggest things is like yes, and people when you're around each other, there's just way more possibility, way more potential.
Sure. For me, I started to, I don't remember. I mean, the last 5 years for me has been just such a pivotal change and like just the way of thinking and getting around different people. We've talked about that, but when it started to form and cultivate and that in me was like, I had, not to bash on an old good friend, but like he just was, he always welcomed me back when I was in heroin. He always let me in his house. So I kind of felt like I owed him, like, you know what I mean? But then I got sober and I've said my sorries, man. Like I don't owe you anymore, and like when as the manager of the mortgage company and running the mortgage company. He had lost his job, so I got him a job and went to bat for him and made him my junior manager, where it was paid well and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, he just dicked it off, was late all the time, always outside fighting with his chick, and I was just like so offended that like he didn't care about the fact I made my name something now, bro. I show up on time. Like that's how I got here, and I was so offended by that. But he was such a good friend. Like we'd been through some shit like since high school. You know what I mean? And call me over and over. Always ask for advice, but then never take the advice type person. You know what I mean? Where
Advice collectors.
when yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And it would be like 7 times a day. And like when you're sitting in the middle of it, like the frog in hot water, you don't feel it getting hot. You don't see what's happening, but there just was some things that got so bad to where I just had to jump ship. Abort, right? And I finally just diffused the relationship. And that was difficult because, like I said, he always let me back in his house when I was on heroin. Like everybody shut the door on me, right? Um, but the point of that story is this: when I separated from him and kind of cut that relationship off, I was blown away by how many people were like, dude, like finally, man, like I was always wondering why the hell you were hanging out with that guy. He had no integrity, all this stuff. And again, this is not me bashing him, that's not what I'm talking about. Um, but that's when I started to see those that stuff's contagious. It's contagious and it holds you back.
Hmm.
And that's when I think that type of like viewpoint where I'm at now, how you see it on my channel constantly. Surround yourself with the right man. Like you'll hear us say it over and over again because it's so powerful. But it started here by cutting some of those relationships off to liberation, because you like start to like, wow, dude, that's baggage. Like people that are just negative, baggage. People that talk shit on other people, baggage. You know what I mean? Like that stuff's just dead weights. Like positivity vampires. Oh, dude. Or like poor me people. Oh,
Yep. Or even it must be nice people.
yeah, dude.
You know.
Yeah, dude. Like never like stoked for you at all.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but so it takes a while. For me, it was like, I'm 48, so kind of mid 40s is when I started to cultivate that.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess men that find that quicker, good on you.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think it's funny. I reacted to a reel the other day, and it was describing like the guy in his early 30s that like doesn't have a job. He blames society and blames the economy, and
Right.
he just wakes up late. And I think
Blah
you
blah
might have
blah.
saw that. And right when the camera flipped to me from in the reaction, the first thing I thought after watching that, and I do most of my reactions in real time, meaning like I haven't seen it before.
Authentic, yeah.
And I try to keep it authentic. Not all of them, but most of them are. Otherwise, there's stuff that I've seen before and I've thought about it. And I was like, oh well. But this one was in real time, and when Freddie brought the camera to me, the first thing I said was, um, he said that everybody knows this guy, or everybody has one of these guys, or everybody knows one of these guys. I said, I don't.
Negative Nelly.
Or yeah, or the guy who's just not amounting to anything and just like whatever.
Yeah.
I said, now of course I know of those
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, yeah.
and I probably knew those guys,
Sure.
but I don't know those guys.
Right.
I don't have one of those guys in
Hit
my
them all.
life. And by the way, nobody in my circle that I know of has one of those guys in their circle either.
Can't.
No.
It's dead weight.
And everybody in my circle is very successful. Whether it's success in financial success, business success, whether it's they're actually everybody in my circle is successful in business, right? In my immediate, like the people that I spend the most time with, but with their families, marriages, all the other things,
And
they're all
completely
successful.
conscious. Like that is a completely conscious decision, correct?
Yep, yep. I can't think of one of my friends that I know that I talk to daily that I actually know that has one of those people in their lives. And it's so funny how in the reel he opens up assuming that we all have one of those people in our lives. So then you would imagine that and how much traction that original reel got that guy posted. It was an AI generated reel, but how many people were like, yeah, yeah, I got one of those. Like, yeah, I do. And you imagine how many people agreed that they had that type of person in their life. Now goes like, I mean, I would love to, and nobody has the time to do this, but I would love to go and edit all, or not edit, but audit all of those profiles and see how many of those people agreed that they had somebody like that in their life and see what their profile looks like,
Sure.
and not to be materialistic, but what are they driving? Where are they working? What are they doing?
Well,
because having that person in your life, it is an energy vampire. It's just it's you keep people like that around you, and you will only amount to what they've
dead weight, man.
it's dead weight.
It's dead weight. So I think a lot of people, whether it be Christianity or whatever, that they're taught that either abundance, you shouldn't have abundance. I know a lot of Christian people in particular that don't think they should be wealthy, and or it's a mindset that I'm not worth it,
Mm.
right? And I think that's the majority of people, whether it's learned or what. But how do people that are listening to this that might be struggling with that? How do you, in your opinion, how do they break through those chains?
Well, again, you have to see what's possible. So you have to be around the people that are possible. You have to bet on yourself.
Sure.
And you have to create enough evidence in you that you can sustain something long term. So that's where why I love fitness and why I love nutrition so much.
It starts with everything.
It does, and it's cool because it's like, if you're a guy who's like, okay, I don't really have an education, I've been working the same job forever, like I don't really have any qualifications for anything else.
Weak mindset.
Yeah, right. Like I don't know how to talk to women, so I'm single, or the guy that we're talking about right there.
Mhm.
Well, the one place that they can start is by eating better and training their body because that shit's free.
Fuck yeah,
Oh, virtually free,
for sure.
right? And you start to treat yourself better, but it's not just the nutrition, it's not just the movement and the strength training and the strength building. It's what you find out about yourself along the way,
Absolutely.
and I don't think that applies across the board. Like I'm not saying like, oh, become a bodybuilder and you'll be successful. IFBB stands for I'm fucking broke bitch. But I am talking about like, guys who fall in love with the side of personal development.
Mm.
Right. Now, of course, if you want to become a bodybuilder, right? But at the end of the day, like if you just can consistently show up for yourself every single day and prove to yourself that you can actually do something, start there.
Yeah.
Because the minute you start there and then you start getting into other things like, working on your head, working on your mindset, starting to read, starting to learn, pick up How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you're not good at talking to people, not good at making friends, that is my Bible. I love How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie's book. It's one of the oldest personal development books there is,
Yeah.
and it never goes out of style.
Yeah.
So start reading, start to work on yourself.
It's the genesis, I think, of everything. It's the starting point of everything. It doesn't matter what you want to be successful at. If you start to work on you, and it starts with diet and those simple things, if you start to become a better man or woman, but a better human by keeping your word to we've all heard that saying where if you say you're going to meet your buddy for lunch 3 times in a row and you don't show up, you think he's going to trust you anymore? If you tell yourself you're going to stop eating cake 3 times in a row, are you going to trust yourself? Whether it's mainly subconscious, I would imagine, but that stuff's heavy, dude.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
stuff's heavy.
because um, your confidence is your credibility,
Sure,
right? So it's impossible to be
confidence in you,
right,
like I mean, you and like seeing other people seeing you, but it's huge.
right. You go in to get a loan, and the bank checks your credit,
Hmm.
right? So that's your credibility, and they check your credit and they check your history, so they are more confident that they will loan you money,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah,
know exactly what I'm
yeah,
talking about,
yeah.
right?
You are
They're
a risk.
Yeah, yeah. Are you a risk? Are you somebody that we're confident will pay this back?
Right.
So if you think about it, like if your credibility internally is shot and you've lied to yourself, you have zero receipts to show that you've ever accomplished anything you set off to do or even said you would do,
Yeah,
then how do you expect that to equate to any level of confidence? And confidence, along with eventually charisma, but most people never even reach that. But confidence alone will allow you to start to make more money,
absolutely.
attract a better partner, um, meet better friends, and things like that. You got to realize too. Okay, so and then finally you can fast track everything by paying to get into those rooms.
Mhm.
You know, you build.
Well, let's sit on that for a second because I know some fairly wealthy people, some men that anybody on the planet would consider extremely wealthy. And I'm going to tell you, everyone that I know invest in themselves.
Right.
They pay thousands of dollars for masterminds or things like that. They invest in themselves. They pay to get in those doors.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? For
Even
people that
even the
won't do
Stoics
like
say it, right?
$500 for like a coaching program or whatnot, trust me, wealthy people do invest in themselves. They do.
They understand that that's like above
That's the
all,
most important thing
above real estate, above Bitcoin, crypto, all of it, above any investment, the
because there's
investment in
no
yourself.
cap.
And the Stoics even say it.
No cap.
And there's no cap.
Right.
You're right. So but I think, again, you're talking to a guy who's like baseline, paycheck to paycheck, no, fat, skinny fat, soft, whatever, depressed, anxious, discontent, miserable, mediocre, whatever. You want to take that guy and have him step up. Start at the baseline, health and nutrition,
Always.
fitness and nutrition, right? Build some confidence. Do something for once consistently.
We've talked about it so many times about empowerment and like the people that don't feel that and don't know how powerful it is. We've experienced it because we've conquered addiction, and I got sober. At least I'll talk for me. You know, I had no self worth. I just think I did a post on it today, or well, actually, we talked about it where I walked into sober living with nothing. I had nothing. I had nothing tangible except like some clothes. So that's not much worth in that. But I did all the things that I didn't want to do, but I did them anyway. And that's one of my favorite sayings. It's all success. You want to get healthy, you want to get ripped, you want to get rich. All of it is doing all the things you don't want to do, but do anyway. How many times you wake up at 4 o'clock and we're going to meet at 5:30? There's not every time you want to go, but you're there.
Right.
Right? You show up because how many people are gonna, hey bro, I'm not feeling that good.
Right.
Tons.
Yeah.
You get that wheel spinning.
Most people.
Well, and then you also have the dudes that like, you have people around you that are like, dude, don't be a bitch, get to the gym. I'll meet you
Well, yeah,
there.
and those are your real friends, right? Um, yeah, yeah. A lot of the shit that I do, I don't want to do, until you start to see the result, right? Until you
Duration.
start to see the rewards of and start reaping what you sow. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want to do more of that because I know what the outcome is.
Well, dude, listen. Without any pomp or ego, let's put that to the side for a second and let's just be real for a second. You walk into a room, fucking ripped, you walk in with respect. Why? I don't care. You'll get some guys talking shit that are overweight with their wives or dude, whatever, steroids, whatever, right? You're gonna get noticed because that motherfucker has discipline.
Hmm.
Ain't nothing you can't buy that shit.
Right.
You want the most respect. You can't tell somebody's super wealthy, maybe by how they dress, whatever. But like you walk into a room ripped, instant respect because you've
100%.
earned that shit. Going to the gym super early, passing on the cake over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? I asked him to sushi tonight. He's like, dude, I've already had my, cheat meal. So that's discipline, dude. I respect it.
Well, I invited you to sushi on Saturday, so you passed on me. Uh,
But you know what I mean?
no,
Because you're like,
I'm
I've had
joking.
the, no, nobody does that.
Right.
It's rare.
Yeah. No, yeah, a disciplined body and a disciplined mind is going to gain way more success than even talent. Way more success than even talent. And I know I also, we're in very similar circles um, and I know that, well, for one of my favorite circles that I'm a part of, one of my favorite groups that I'm a part of, everybody's ripped and
Yeah.
everybody's a millionaire. I think you have to be in that circle.
Yeah.
In terms of like the group, it's obviously you pay to get in,
Right.
but everybody is.
Right.
And everybody has an incredible amount of respect and mutual respect for each other. We all do different things,
Yeah.
but
'Cause you work for
we
that
we
shit.
all, yeah, it shows from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. You worked hard. And maybe you didn't even, and you worked hard, but maybe more importantly, you avoided so much distraction
Hmm.
and instant gratification. And so when you see a guy who clearly doesn't avoid instant gratification, and you wear it on your belly
Hmm.
and in your man boobs and everything else,
Hmm.
like you can't take that person serious.
Yeah.
You can't take that person serious. So you want to start talking about falling into a life of abundance and success and growth and being around other people. Well, you need to earn that respect. And the first thing you have to earn is the respect with yourself.
100%.
If you don't have that, like, who's going to respect you? You don't even respect yourself enough to control what you put in your fucking mouth.
So we both have a lot of those men that enter our lives, the men that you just described. So there's people listening to this right now that are like that, and no knock on you. What is you tell me from your perspective? What's the starting point? How does that man start to change? He's listening right now and he's intrigued. How does he start to change?
Well, one, get a gym membership, right? And get a meal plan. You can go on ChatGPT and get a decent meal plan that will cause change in your body and in your health overall. Um, the thing is like, again, like, the easy answer would be like, start networking and start going out and meeting people and doing stuff like that. That's great, but if you don't have the confidence and the actual consistency in your lifestyle to pull that off, it's going to be very difficult to have anybody just take you in.
Hmm.
Keeping in mind that most people that are where we are have already done the purging of people that aren't quite there yet or aren't going to get there. So you have to really prove, like, I think to level up, like, you have to really prove yourself.
Right. To you first. So
Yeah.
how how I would answer that.
Because if you don't have self-respect and you don't have self-worth, then you're not going to be able to carry that into a room and be brought in.
Right. But you start with tiny little wins. That's why you've heard me say the alarm clock. I start for the alarm clock for sober for uh, anybody because you start to set little. First off, you write it down. I went to with my old man last night. He had some dinner thing that he was having. So I took my bride and my kids, and we drove down to Temecula. Blah blah blah. And there was a guy that he's a police officer and going through some hard times, right? And he's I've done numerous loans for him and his family, blah blah blah. And he has just been going through some depression because a lot of the stuff he's seen, it's just affected him deeply. So when I saw him, I could just he wore it, and it was cool. I was able to sit with him for a bit and hey man, how you doing? I could tell. He didn't have to tell me, but I could already read his demeanor and his lack of self-confidence. And that's kind of where I started with him. I said, listen, man, I've been through some shit, and like, if you ever want to talk, but I said, why don't you start writing down what you want? First off, how are you going to know what you want if you don't know what you want? Like, think through it. Like, what do you want? You don't want to be depressed anymore. You don't want to be this. So now you know what you don't want. So now let's write down, what do I want? Right? And then start writing it down, purge it, get it out. In my opinion, when you start writing stuff down, you're making a contract with you and the universe,
Yep.
right? You're physically putting effort into getting it out and you're thinking through, which nobody does, what you want.
Mhm.
How many people have you ever asked how many people, well, what do you want? And they're like, I don't know. Like,
Well, that's
there's
what
no
we do.
definitive. What the hell do you want? Do you want to be wealthy? Okay, cool. Well, what does that mean for one? So you got to elaborate for yourself. What's wealthy to you? Because some people it's money, some people it's whatever, time, whatever. But write it down.
Mhm.
Have a definitive what you want. Everybody wants money, duh. But how much money?
Right. Yeah,
You
I
know what
do.
I
I
mean?
do it every quarter. At the beginning of every year, I write down exactly what I want. I sign it all. And I have my clients send me in their notes. They attach it in there and have them sign it with their finger on their iPhones. Um, their goals.
Yeah,
So usually I like
it's huge.
something that's like financial, professional, relationship, obviously physical, and emotional, like an emotional or like a mindset style goal.
Sure.
Um, for while they're working with me. But yeah. I guess I didn't understand your initial question, but yeah, everything should be written down. That's you know what's funny though, how many times I've told people to write down their goals and then like 2 weeks later I'm like, okay, did you write them down? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm getting to it.
Everybody.
Right? They know they have to, but I think that it's like such a fear right away just to do that one simple thing.
Why though? Because it takes freaking effort.
Right.
Everybody's lazy. Like having to sit down and think what you want is difficult. Why? It takes brain power. We are so programmed to just exist.
Hmm.
Just wake up whenever you want, hit snooze 5 times, no structure. I would guarantee you if you tracked our steps every day, I was telling my wife this. If you track my steps in the morning, it would be the exact steps,
Right.
almost minute by minute.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or we've done that work, but nobody thinks through shit. So when they do, when I was doing coaching, and I would say, when I'd sign them up, I say, now, I want you to write this down. I'm big on pen and paper. I will complete this program. It's a 90 program. I will complete this program, and I would have them sign it. And there was people that didn't even do that. And some people at 90 days, I didn't get anything out of it. You didn't check in once, dude. No offense.
Right. It actually is a huge correlation. I can tell you, like even from the fitness side, the fitness clients side of things, the people that like get the app, download the app, put in their pictures, put in everything, like the minute they get it,
Yeah.
are always the best clients. And then the people that you're like, all right, can I get that?
Right.
They're always the worst at checking in, worst at all of it, and the biggest victims.
I
Um,
don't chase those people down.
no, you can't.
I never did.
Mm-mm.
I never heard from you. I never heard from you. This is you're trying to get in shape. I'm not your dad, dude.
Yeah. Well, in order to play in the game, you have to show up to practice, and some people can't even do that. And it's even sadder when showing up to practice means showing up for yourself, and you can't even show up for yourself. How the fuck are you going to show up for children, your family? And then we're completely getting off track, but and then these people will say, "Well, you don't get it. I gotta work to keep a roof over the head and provide for my family."
Sure.
That's the bare minimum.
All right.
Paying for food, water,
It's your
shelter,
job. Your
that's your
dad.
job. That's
Uh,
that's the bare minimum.
right.
Well, I'm too tired to work out after all of that. That's because you don't work out.
Well, like what part of that is the abundance or lack thereof? That's all the mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's just a man that doesn't believe that he
Well,
can be
yeah,
wealthy.
because yes, but people put walls in front of everything.
Mm,
Yes, but people they there has to be some sort of hurdle or obstacle at all times. We don't see hurdles and obstacles.
no.
Yes, but people are always going to, that's how they're going to react to things. So you cause so much fucking friction and resistance between you and the end goal
Yeah.
that you tire yourself out. You spend so much time focused on the obstacles that it takes too long.
Right.
I was on a podcast the other day, the Get Canceled podcast, and the guy said, "Well, what would what would you tell somebody that was going through a long term weight loss goal over 10 years and we were talking about balance and like how is it and I said, have you ever met somebody that's lost 100 pounds over 10 years?
Yeah.
No, you never have,
Right.
because nobody sticks to something that long. Nobody sticks to something 90 days
Mm,
because they cause more friction for themselves. It comes in the form of excuses. It comes in the form of inconveniences. It comes in the form of just every fucking thing
yeah.
that they can come up with.
Sure. Very few.
When's the last time you looked at it, you even saw an obstacle in the last 5 years in growing your business and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And there's going to be obstacles, but what does it look like? A line of credit?
Right.
Like what? A
Figure it
fucking
out.
a fucking pissed off customer that wants a refund? Okay. Like
Yeah.
what are the real, and we've been through this, right? We've been through sobriety. We've been through editing and auditing our lives and the people in it.
Mm,
We've been through starting a business. We've been through growing a business. I'm sure you failed a couple times. I
sure.
sure have as well.
Hell yeah.
Marketing campaigns. We've been through making money. We've been through losing money. We've been through liabilities. We've been through relationship problems. We've been through children.
Hmm.
We've been through every single thing possible, right? What else is there?
Right.
Because I can tell you that 99% of the shit that you cook up in your brain is most likely not even going to happen.
True that.
But you create that as an obstacle, which creates friction, slows you the fuck down just enough for you to time you out, so you get distracted enough that you go completely off it. And it also will come in the form of, a guy will start a gym routine. He'll start getting into good shape, and all of a sudden he'll attract one chick, and then they'll start going out to dinners, and she likes to drink a little bit, so he's gonna have some drinks. Then he misses his workout because he's so focused on this one chick he got after he lost a little bit of his fucking man
Right.
tits. And I see that, and you know how many clients I've had that's happened to?
Constant.
It's all the time.
Or
And
it's the
that's
guy
just
that gets
one
sober for a
example.
month. He's doing good, so he's like, I can have one drink.
Right.
Same shit.
That wasn't even an obstacle that he was planning on getting. That was a byproduct of him eating right for a few months. That wasn't even a real obstacle. He probably didn't even think that was going to happen, and all the other obstacles that he had timed him out.
Well, so it's on the same lines of if you're going to do it, you have to do it for the right reasons. Plain and simple for you.
Well, that's intention.
For you. But you can't, you have to do it for you. So
Yeah.
one of the biggest passions that I've had more so ever is just, getting men to stand back up and be good fathers and good be men. It's just such a passion
Mm.
because I don't like what I see out there. You know, everybody's overweight, dude. Freaking like go downtown. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is overweight, right?
Yep.
And phone and face, no conversation, right? It's just it was driving me crazy, man. It was driving me crazy, man. And the genesis of that was just the COVID shit was where I was blown away that men were so submissive. Because I'm like, yeah, no way, dude. Like, I'm not doing any of that, and you don't have to be as bold as me. I came out of punk rocker, dude. I was like breaking rules from day one. It's just part of my DNA. But
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, like, there ain't no fighting you, dude. Stand in a circle, put a mask on, and all that stuff. And again, I don't care. I'm not being political. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the submissive. That is the submissive man that, for lack of a better way to say it, doesn't have the balls to get up and freaking make something of yourself, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Get up and just freaking make something of yourself. If you're fat, overweight, change it. How's it going to change? Change
So
it.
that just made me think of something. This morning, Christina and I were talking about core values, and integrity was one of them, right? And one that I brought up briefly, but it would have been kind of umbrellaed under a different topic that we were talking about on the same topic, was intentionality.
Yeah.
And so, Jonathan, my partner in our nutrition coaching business, he always, when somebody comes in and says, like, oh, I want to jump on peptides,
Mm-hmm.
or I want to jump on TRT, and he'll say, why?
Mm-hmm.
And he says it just like that, a little bit higher pitch voice. Why? That's my job. He says, why? And they go, well, he's like, you're going to jump on stage? No. Then why?
They
Right?
want the
And
easy
and
road. He's like thinking they want the easy road. Is that what he means?
he just wants to know why they came up with that idea. Right? He's questioning their intentions. What are you really trying to do here?
Right.
Right? And that's just one example. But I think intentionality is one of the biggest things, just like what you said. Like, you have to do it for the right intentions, but why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why are you starting the business?
Right.
To get rich?
Right.
Then you're not going to get rich.
Dude, boom. 100%. Do you do what you do to get rich?
No.
Money's
I was
great.
already rich.
Money's great though. I
No,
know.
I'm just
Like,
kidding.
but
But
money's great. But like, I know that I asked that it was rhetorical. I know
yeah.
you don't do the things for for
No.
those reasons.
No.
Like you and I have talked about it so many times, dude. Like, money's great. I want to do big shit with cool people that I
Yeah.
like to. We just started a beard, business, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro! I used it for the first time today. It was good. It's thick to get that shit out there. I liked it.
Yeah, you need the guitar pick.
Yeah, I know. But let's fucking do big shit, dude.
Right.
Right? And if we put some bucks in our bank, cool.
Well, even when you, me, and Jeremy met on the beard brand, we were talking about, like, okay, how are we going to split this up? We were talking about paying that new homie that was going to be helping us out, and what we were going to be paying him, and right away, I think I first said, well, I'm not going to take anything from the business. It's going to go right back in. And then you said, yep, me too. And then Jeremy said, yep, me too. And it was like, okay, so what's our intention in this? Our intention is to build something fucking dope
Do cool shit.
and make people like look better, feel better about themselves, and all of that. That's what the intention is.
Right.
Now, it could or couldn't, but I would imagine the way that my belief system and my core values work is that it will probably be a good success
Mm,
because the intentionality in the beard business, right? In tribrid society, the intentionality is there. We're not in it to make money,
right.
right? We're making money from other businesses we didn't have intention to make money with.
Right. Right.
like the intention was there,
Right.
right? And then going into the integrity side of it, it was, well, why were we forfeiting a percentage of what we potentially could have taken, right? Well, because we saw a guy that if we knew believed in us
Mm,
and was going to take the time, then he deserved to get paid for not only taking his time and stuff like that, but sharing his belief in us.
right.
So that to me is the integrity, and all three of
I
us
can only
sat
work with people like that. I can't do
exactly.
it otherwise. How easy was that?
We
How many of you guys that you know would have been had a like there would have been like you know a problem with it or but we were just like cool, 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 and then that was it.
yeah,
So that's what I'm talking about.
right.
That stuff's just vital for me.
Hmm.
The integrity. I can't go around anybody that doesn't have it.
And so the thing is that like so with going back to intentions though, um as a man, like one of the most like so like what is most attractive and what I've learned, and I'm pretty confident that you and I both have attracted pretty incredible women. And speaking for myself, like Christina to me was like, she was like everything that I manifested in terms of like what I wanted in a woman. She's successful. She owns her own business. She's very educated. She raised two great boys, or is raising two great boys. Very fit, very active. All of the things that I wanted, right? But what was most attractive about me, not the fact that I was like jacked, had and stuff like that, like my physical appearance, it was the fact that I was extremely intentional, right? I have the integrity, but what I've learned is, and very disciplined. And what I've learned is
Just sexy as hell to a woman. It's got to be because
that's what I was just
look
about
at
to
the
say.
dudes out there, dude.
The sexiest thing that I've learned from the right women, like if you're trying to attract a high value woman, is your discipline and your intentionality.
You better become the man that you need to be to get a woman like
Yep.
that of substance. There's good looking women everywhere, and a lot of them suck. Let's just be honest.
Oh yeah,
But a
yeah.
woman that's good looking that has substance and depth, now we're talking a little bit more rare,
Right,
right?
100%.
And you have to be a man that has those things to attract that woman because what's she gonna want from you, dude?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
And it's funny because I reacted to a thing. This guy was talking about high valued women, and he was like, who would want a high valued woman that is attracted to you for your six pack?
Mm-hmm.
And in my head I was like, and even when I said about it, I said it has nothing to do with the six pack.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the six pack. The six pack is your receipt that you can control what you put in your mouth,
Do that.
right? The six pack is the evidence that you can keep promises to yourself, right?
Right.
The
Which is
six,
sexy. Which
right?
is sexy. Not the six pack, great. I'm sure every woman likes that, but it's the fact that this guy obviously has something because it's rare. I don't remember even the like statistic of guys that have a six pack.
Well, yeah,
It's
men in
not the
their
six
30s
pack,
and 40s that
but
have
it's
even
like
visible abs, it's
obviously he has
2%.
discipline. Obviously he, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
can keep his mouth shut. I've done a post numerous times where it strikes nerves in people. Sometimes it's good to be polarizing, but I'll challenge men and I'll say, listen, dude, out of all the men in the world, your wife chose you. And I'll tell you this, she did not choose you to just give up on yourself, get overweight, be comfortable in your job, same job, and just literally living paycheck to paycheck. It's a challenge to a degree because she didn't bet on you for that, dude. You know what I mean? Like, no offense, like I'm sure she loves you, but it ain't freaking sexy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I want my wife to be freaking like attracted to me for numerous reasons, dude, and like it's because I continue to earn it.
Right. Yeah, like the what do they say? Like the woman falls out of love falls out of love with the man that you've become.
Right. Right. But that's true though. Like, dude, like I know that like she loves you, but like I guarantee you it ain't sexy and that's not attractive. And I've been with my wife for 14 years. And not to spill my laundry on here, we have a great relationship. We have a great sex life, and I love her to death because we keep working on ourselves.
Hmm.
Period.
That's really good.
Good shit, Dan. Let's close on this. So there's dudes that are listening to this. Let's give it one more starting point. If you're listening to this, well, I think we got to it.
Write it
Write it
down.
down. What do you want? I want to get in shape. Okay, cool. Ask ChatGPT, where do I start? Whatever. And then put down a roadmap on how you get there. You'll fine tune the roadmap, write it down, put it on paper, and make it be.
That's it.
Literally.
That's it.
And then cut the ties with
Oh, and
dead
don't forget to sign it.
freaking weight. Yeah, sign it.
Sign it. And you might even want to, while you're writing it down, make a list of the things that you got to get rid of to get there.
Yeah, dead weight. If
That
your
way,
if your friends are like going nowhere, you got the wrong friends.
I'll buy.
Good shit, bro. All right, man. Good
That's
one.
good. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you follow us on our on all of our socials. We'll keep them listed below. Like, comment, all the good stuff for the algorithm. Help us get this message out to more people. We'll catch you guys next time on the Sick Boys Podcast.
Only love.